As you are probably well aware, our DNA is like this a homogeneous blueprint of information on how to make a human. Usually, this massive document is packaged up nicely into a storage bin called a chromosome. Actually, usually we have 46 chromosomes that we use to neatly organize all our information. Depending on how you define organize, each of the 46 chromosomes is actually part of a pair of chromosomes since you get one from each parent, so 23 pairs. If you want to make another human, first you would have to find someone that feels the same way, and then you both contribute half of your chromosomes. So on one from each pair. Right, 50-50. Now what is if someone contributes one to Mandy, say dad contributes 23 and mom contributes 24, is that possible? Yes, and it is the basis of one of the most common chromosomal disorders, Down syndrome. Someone with Down syndrome has 47 chromosomes instead of 46. Specifically, they have an extra copy of chromosome 21, so instead of 2, they have 3. So Down syndrome, also known as trisomy 21, in other words 3 chromosome 21s. Alright, so in order to packaging up half the chromosomes into either a sperm cell or an egg cell, you actually start with single cell that has 46 chromosomes. Let us just say we are making an egg cell from the mother. I am just going to show one pair of chromosomes. But remember that all 23 pairs do this. So the process of meiosis starts, which is what produces our sex cells, and the chromosomes replicate, and so now they are a sort of shaped like an X, even though there are two copies of DNA here. We still say it is one chromosome since they are hooked together in the middle by this thing called a centromere. Okay, then the cell separates into two and pulls apart the pure chromosomes. So in each of these cells you are now got 23 chromosomes. These cells, now the two copies of the chromosomes get pulled apart and the cells separate again, which means 4 cells, each cell with 23 chromosomes. Now these are ready to pair up with a sperm cell from dad that has 23 chromosomes as well, totaling to 46 chromosomes. And while 9 months down the road, now with the Down syndrome or trisomy 21, a process called non-disjunction accounts for about 95% of cases. Now, non-disjunction means the chromosomes do not separate apart. If the chromosomes in this first step do not separate apart, then one cell ends up with both chromosomes and the other gets none. Then the final result is two cells with an extra chromosomes and two cells missing a chromosome. Non-disjunction can also happen in the second step though. So first step goes both cells have a chromosome, but if they do not separate apart in the second step, then the final result is one cell with an extra chromosome, one cell missing chromosome, and two with the right number of chromosomes. Now, if a sperm cell combines with any of these that have a duplicate of chromosomes 21, then the combined cell which have one extra copy of chromosome, in other words 3 chromosomes 21s or trisomy 21. In case you were wondering, the sperm would also combine with the cells that have the missing chromosome. If that is the case, then there would be a total of only one chromosome 21, and we would call it monosomy 21. In my example, we followed the egg cell from the mother, but this process could happen the opposite way, where the sperm starts out with too many or too few copies of chromosome 21. Apart from non-disjunction, Robert-Swan translocation accounts for about 4% of trisomy 21 cases. Translocation in this case is a fancy way of saying move from one place to another. So a part of one chromosome moves and switches place with a part from another chromosome. In this case, the long arm of the chromosome 21 translocates over to chromosome 14, and you end up with two hybrids, one with both long arms and one with both short arms. This little guy with the short arms carries just a little bit of usually non-essential genetic information and is typically lost by the end of meiosis. So there are a few ways this can go down. First, including the translocated chromosomes. They replicate, and how these could separate into one with both normal chromosomes and one with long guy and a short guy, in which case after separating again you have two normal cells and two cells with a big guy, since we lost the little guy along the way. So now contribute the other parent's DNA and you have got a two normal cases, and then these two cases are called the balanced carriers, and we say it is a balanced because you have got both long arms, and so most of the genes are settled here, kind of like a 2 for 1 deal. Let us say the normal chromosome 14 ends up with the short and normal chromosome 21 with a long. Now you can get two cells with a normal and long arm and two cells with a normal and short arm, which remember is usually lost. Short arm. So these ones have one extra chromosome 21, since the long arm carry most of the genetic material for both chromosomes 14 and 21, and these ones are missing chromosomes. Now combine these with the other parents again, and you had trisomy 21 here and monosomy 21 here, since it is missing a chromosome 21. If this process was such that chromosome 14 ended up with the long chromosome first, then you would ultimately end up with the trisomy 14 and monosomy 14. So, of the 12 possibilities, two end up being trisomy 21 right. With Robertsonian translocation, one of these chromosomes need to be chromosome 21 right, even though the other is usually chromosome 14. It can actually be other chromosome as well, like chromosome 22. Finally, about 1% of patients are mosaic, meaning their cells are mixed, and some have 46 chromosomes and some have 47. How does? Well, let us think about what happens after conception. So you have got this one cell called the zygote that needs to develop into a human, right? Since we are not single-celled organisms, it has to divide over and over again, essentially producing every kind of the cell in the body. Now each of these divisions is called the mitosis. Non-disjunction of chromosomes 21 can also happen during mitosis, in which case you would end with up one cell that has an extra chromosome 21 and one without, so one with 47 total chromosomes and one with 45. The cell with 45 chromosomes is not able to survive, but the one with 47 does survive and continues to replicate and produce more cells with 47 chromosomes. If this happens early on in development, then you can imagine that a lot of cells down the line can have 47 chromosomes, right? If it happens later on, then less cells will have 47 chromosomes. Meiosis can also happen when the zygote starts with trisomy 21 or 47 total chromosomes. In this case, non-disjunction would produce one cell with another extra chromosome 21. So this one has 4 chromosomes 21 as 14 to 48 chromosomes, and this cell cannot survive. The other cell, though, loses one of its three chromosomes 21, as so now it has 46 chromosomes, which happens to be the normal amount of chromosomes, right? And this is sort of like the opposite situation, because now through a mistake you have actually ended up with the right amount of chromosomes. So if it happens early in development, you will actually end up with the normal amount of chromosomes. If it is late in development though, then less cells will have the normal 46 chromosomes. Having an extra chromosome 21 is one of the most common chromosomal disorders, and not surprisingly, it has an effect on almost every organ system in the body, and for that reason, there is a long list of common issues for those affected with Down syndrome. Here are some of the major ones: septal defects in the heart chambers, usually between the two atria, duodenum atresia, increased risk of acute lymphoblastic leukemia, mental retardation, and increased risk of Alzheimer's and senility in males. There are several physical characteristics as well, like a Simon crease in the hands, a gap between the first two toes, a flat facial profile, and epicanthal folds. Having an extra chromosome 21 is thought to affect these symptoms by an expression of genes on chromosome 21, since then an extra copy of contributing to gene expression, which changes the development of all the systems just listed. Now, a major risk factor for Down syndrome is a maternal age, the age of the mother. Trisomy 21 happens about once in about 1500 1500 births, where the mother is younger than 20 years old, contrasted to about 1 in 25 births, where the mothers elder than older mothers are older than 45 years old. During pregnancy, some screening tests can be done, and certain markers such higher risk that a baby might have Down syndrome. Alpha E fetoprotein, or AFP, unconjugated estriol, or on average lower when compared to unaffected pregnancies, and human chronic gonadotrophin, or HCG, as well as inhibin A, are both typically elevated compared to unaffected pregnancies. An imaging test using ultrasound can also be performed, where clinicians look for natural translucency, literally seeing how much light. None of these are exact indicators of Down syndrome, however, but they do give valuable information about the overall risk of Down syndrome. Even though there is a long list of complications and hardships for people with Down syndrome, improved medical care has led to a much greater longevity and a quality of life. Many individuals with Down syndrome are able to thrive and lead full lives. Thanks for watching. Thank you.